Next up, we're going to talk about another video that I found from a TikToker who is she's regretting where her life has gotten to. Um, she's 46 and she's single and she's unhappy about that reality of hers. So we're going to go ahead and play this. For the life of me, I can't understand why these people put this out for public consumption. But at the same time, thank you because you're providing people like us with content.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
would never do this, but hey, whatever. I guess it is what it is. But she was in the mood to express why she is, unhappy with where what the course of her life is taking at this point. She's 46, unmarried, and she's not happy. So we'll play this and talk about it.
Hey TikTok. You know it's crazy because I joke a lot about being single and you know I um I laugh it off. But I'm 46 years old, and while I'm getting ready for surgery and everything, it dawned on me. Hold on. I'm sorry. It dawned on me that I'm 46 years old and I don't have a husband to take care of me. I don't have a husband to help me get ready. I'm 46 years old and I still need my mama to take care of me. Full stop. I still need my sister, which whether I had a husband or not, they would be there. It sucks. Being single and 46 sucks.
PSA, man. PSA. I hope they paying attention.
That's it. It just sucks. And I'm fucking tired. And I make jokes about the fucking buffoons that I have been encountering in dating. But in reality, this is my reality. This is my reality. This is my reality, and those stories are the shit that's available because all the good men have gotten married in their 20s and 30s because they're good men. I'm not blaming it all on men because women are fucking shit. They fucking batshit crazy too. So, but this is my reality, not anybody else's. That's all.
Mm-mm-mm.
I don't mean to laugh. I don't mean to find enjoyment in her misery, but some of that stuff I got a good chuckle out of.
Oh man,
So you say it's a PSA, huh?
it's a public service announcement. That should air on PBS after Author and Clifford the Red Dog, and everybody should watch that and feel her pain daily. Just so when they grow up and they say, "I'm not gonna be that girl that was in that car with a car seat sitting back there, hollering about she 46 and she ain't got no husband, nobody to take care of her." It just hit her at 46. That's wild to me. But I feel like this is very informative And again, much like the last topic, this woman here has been caught in the wave of systematic mind control that has gotten everybody in this whole let me be a bachelor or bachelorette and let me be single and do my thing. Let me be single and do my thing. We had a conversation a couple weeks ago about, if couples are breaking up too fast. And when you're out here doing this dating stuff, because I don't even know why people call it dating. You're just literally meeting a stranger, cool enough with that person for 1 to 2 weeks to see if it's any stranger danger. You have sex with them repeatedly until you cap out on the sex. Well, y'all did every position y'all both know. Y'all try to introduce new things. Some stuff may stick, some stuff may not. Then once the sex is exited its honeymoon phase, well, now you have to deal with each other. They don't really want to deal with each other. So then they just break up. Then they find the next person. And they do the same cycle yet again. And as you always say, and as the world says, hey, repeating the same thing, that is the definition of insanity. For you to be doing this for as long, and I'm talking about this woman, for her to be doing this for as long as she's been doing it. So let's give her 18. She's been dating since she's been 18. Well, she's almost been doing this for what? Whoa, quick math on that. 20-some years?
30.
30-some years? 30 years?
46, so that's almost 30 years.
So she's been doing this for quite a while, 3 decades. And she just figured out that she needed a husband.
That's why I have no sympathy for her.
Right. And so now granted, there's people out here that they getting up there now, and they're getting up there in age, and they're not quite 46 yet, but their resume is speaking damn near the same. And you're on the same trajectory. And so what ends up what people, and that's why I said this is such a public service announcement, because this is easy to laugh at her now because she's 46. But 35, 30, and you're still in the same boat as her. And what changes does anybody plan to make to get out of that boat that's got them there at such an age? So there has to be an actual, in order to achieve something you never did before, you have to do something you never did before. And so much like I said from the conversation from a couple weeks ago, that couples breaking up too fast. Well, people are going to have to start giving people chances. Stop fishing in the same pond you've been getting the same crappy, multi-fin, multi-eye fish that these mutant fish you've been catching. So stop fishing in that pond, go fish somewhere else where there's actually good people there, and then give that person an honest chance. So I've got more to say on this, but let me get some of your takes on this.
Yeah, I'm gonna just piggyback off of what you said. I don't think that that's possible, and I try to be an optimistic person, but I don't think that what you're saying is possible. I think people have been too brainwashed by their messages on a daily basis, the messages that they are consumed, the messages that they consume on a daily basis. I think that they have been brainwashed by those messages too much to be able to get out of their own way and come to the realization that they need to do something different. I think the whole fishing in your pond dynamic is something that comes entirely from mind control, entertainment mind control. And that mind control is so palpable. I just don't see this reversing. Let me be very clear about this. I think the reason why people, and I won't even just limit it to women, I'll include men as well, but I find a lot of this type of stuff, content wise, coming more from women than from men, honestly. I don't see too many men making videos talking about how they waited too long and they're old and now they're trying to get married. But I know it happens, but for the most part, I see more of this coming from women. And so, like, to this woman here who made this video, and she's talking about how she's 46 and, you know, being single at 46 sucks. Like, she's not an unattractive woman. So, did you just come to this realization today? Like, how long have you felt this way and still been going about the business of trying to, you know, change your relationship status by doing the same things that you've been doing your entire life, and not making any strategic changes so that you can get a different outcome? Like, to a certain degree, I feel like a lot of this is just disingenuousness on the part of people who come out with these statements publicly. Because, like, you seem intelligent enough to know that you are headed down this road. So either it hits you in this very moment, and now you're realizing, oh my God, I'm 46, hit the wall, and now I need to start making some changes. Or have you known this for a while, but you still felt like you could squeeze a little bit out of that orange before you were officially too past your prime, to be able to, you know, have to make changes, I guess. I just kind of feel like a lot of this is sour grapes. Like, it's rooted in mind control. Like, when you speak of the buffoons, because that's the word that she used, characterizing the men that she's dated. When you speak of the buffoons whom you've dated, clearly you've dated enough of these guys that you're able to detect when you're encountering a buffoon. So at what point do you realize that you're encountering a buffoon before you decide this guy is exhibiting all of the characteristics of a buffoon, so let me not give this guy a chance and let me try something different? You've been trying the same thing for the longest, despite evidence to suggest that you know what buffoonery looks like, yet you still kept engaging in buffoonery. So whose fault is that? Like, this is all on you, ma'am. Just like it's all on all of us. Like, all of us, if you're mid 30s, late 30s, and you're pushing 40, or if you're into your 40s and you feel that sense of urgency because you feel like this is something that you don't want to have to continue as you get older or advanced in age, like, you've known this for a while. This isn't something that you just discovered. Like, you're not walking on the moon yesterday. Like, you realized that this was going on for a long time, but you kept trying to squeeze that fruit because you kept thinking that you had chance. You kept thinking that you had chances and more time. Everybody thinks they have more time until they no longer have time. So I would proposition you to evaluate how much time you actually have, especially for women, because unlike men, women really do have a biological clock to consider if things like family, and motherhood is something that matters to you. Now, if you don't care about having kids and all of that kind of stuff, then, you know, whatever. At that point, all you're looking at is your physical peak and how to be able to maximize on that as much as you can. But if motherhood and having a family and all of that kind of stuff is something that you care about, there's a window of opportunity there. So it's best that you don't squander it. You know, those are my initial thoughts. I kind of just don't have any sympathy for her. I have more to say, but I'll let you kick back in with the rest of it. But I really do think that this is all a matter of mind control. I think that for women like this, she spent too much time preoccupied with how tall and how much money and relative physical features, like whether he has enough tattoos or whether he has this kind of hairstyle. I feel like her, and I'm speculating. I feel like, but women like this are a dime a dozen. So I feel like it's not reckless speculation. I feel like it's very reasonable speculation. I feel like she spent an inordinate amount of time concerned with how tall he is, how much money he has to make. You know, whether he has, you know, whether he has the right kind of tattoos or whether he's doing this, that, and the third in that kind of way. I feel like she spent too much time preoccupied with that. And now that she's gotten old enough to care about things that actually matter, things of substance, she's going to be hard pressed to actually find someone who's willing to give her a chance, because guys aren't willing to take the trade-off with you being so far past your physical prime. So that's the price that she paid. And I guess that she only has herself to blame for this. You reap what you sow. And it isn't just her, and it isn't just women. Men, we do the same stupid stuff.
Mhm.
So, definitely a public service announcement, definitely a cautionary tale. But we are so enveloped in our own mind control madness from our devices and from these messages that we receive on a daily basis to gain the wherewithal to get out of our own way. And this is what you get as a result: 46 and full of regret.
Yeah, and I agree with that. But my take on the mind control aspect is that if mind control is working successfully, you're doing this on autopilot. So that's the control of the mind is you're doing what you're seeing on TV. So you're not even in a space to where you can compartmentalize and not do what you're seeing on TV. You are doing whatever you're consuming. And so the height, the money, the whatever, the tattoos, the whatever, that stuff was given to her somewhere. The same level of crap that girls nowadays. She's 46. You talk to a 18-year-old, she's going to say the same crap. So
Absolutely.
it's the same. They're getting it from somewhere. So as a man, I know where I consume my filth from, and I know where I got all of my ideas about what a woman should be in my life and all that other stuff. I don't know what women watch or consume as a mass for them to all be speaking the same message like this, but they're consuming something. And so my level of so is there an overt level of empathy for her on the front side? No way, because well, yeah, like you said, you dug this grave, so make yourself comfortable, right? But then on the back end, I do have a level of empathy because well, she couldn't control it. And so she's on autopilot just the same way that when you walk through the house and you throw your keys in the same area or do whatever, it's the same automated response to whatever she does anything. And so as a reality check, because that's what she called this, and most certainly she hit some type of wall of reality in this
Right.
situation. So if she had a reality check, she was not living in reality before. And if she wasn't living in reality before, then she wasn't consciously making her own decisions. And so now that she can actually see it, but what caused this? A level of trauma in her life. She has in surgery about something. And so this is bringing in her own mortality for a change. And she's actually feeling that, you know what? I can die. And that's the part where that's the seed of her reality check. But she's been doing this for 46 years. It's going to be a monumental climb in order for this woman to be a wife next year, legitimately, instead of rushing the cause. And so because she has so many built-in habits that 46 years, that's a lot of repairing. And honestly, unless there's some Maury Povich boot camp, she's in a bad
She's in
space.
the danger zone.
Yeah, she's in the
zone.
danger zone. And so my thing is that living wild, living young, and that's why I put the image of these people here, because it's so much glorification behind being young and single and spry and sexually active, much like the last conversation that we had. So there's so much emphasis on living this type of lifestyle of just play. I had a professor. He says this was in 2010, and he said, I hate modern rap. And it's gotten worse since then. He was like, I hate modern rap. I can't stand what y'all listening to. And he said, all it teaches you is party, irresponsibility, not taking care of your responsibility, just play. And nothing about being a grown adult. And so you'll see people, we're in that bracket. Hell, you scroll down on any social media thing now, you got, you know what I'm saying, grandmas thirst trapping. Grandma's thirst trapping because, well, they're in that wave. She's 51. She got the same kind of programming that I was getting. She was just watching the Jeffersons, when it came out live.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, so people have been what people need, and it's not like, it's kind of like church, but not church. But people need the same level of inner work time that they spend on consumption. But people wake up and consume all day
Mhm.
and never do any inner work. And so when you're stacking days of not thinking for yourself, then you're on autopilot. And
Yes.
then it's like 2,000 bodies. I'll slay that. You heard my mind control? Boy, you got your damn mind. So this is what's happening nowadays, man. It's a lot of people that got caught in this wave. And that's why I like having these conversations, is because it separates the day-to-day. Oh man, I was just watching that unabated. It was just going straight through today. And it's like, yeah, man, just take it easy. And whenever you're watching something, make sure that you're filtering some of this stuff out, lest you be this woman in the car crying like, "Where my wife, bro? Where my
Mhm.
wife, dog? Like, I ain't got nothing. Yeah, I got this, I got that, but I ain't got nobody to love me." And that's one more thing. This single life, it's all a facade. There's nothing entertaining in it. That's the irony of it. You're having so much fun not having fun. You're doing all of this stuff, meeting all of these people, great stories. You can kill a party. You got stories for this, stories for that. Oh, you got boys that you talking around. Oh, you slayed this, slayed that. Good for you, sir. But that man's going to go home to his wife, and he's going to have something warm next to him today, tomorrow, the day after that, next year. And what you got to show for bachelor life, play a baller? Oh, you got a Rolodex, bruh? Which one of these women is going to help bury you? Which one of these women is going to be in a hospital bed next to you when you're actually going through it like that?
Yeah, helping you recover from your surgery.
You know what I'm saying? But your Rolodex is too busy hoeing. So there's a miserable life in living this bachelor life. And that's the lie that they've been trying to sell us on all of these TV shows. Oh yeah, I'm slaying this, slaying that. Oh yeah, I got a new one. Seinfeld had a new woman every episode. George was getting a new woman every episode. Like George Costanza. Yeah, he got a new woman. Why not? It's TV.
It
So
is,
they
exactly.
so they use, hey man, let me play the field. Let me do mine. Hey, I know there's better out there. I saw her on Instagram. Bro, that girl stayed states away. You know what I'm saying? She got herself dolled up before she even took that picture. Her house dirty. I can go on.
And
So
she's miserable.
and she's miserable
She's secretly miserable.
because she's thirsting for likes.
Yeah.
So what is really going on? So one more part. And it's just like what these dating apps and people swiping left, swiping right. That's so not real fishing. And so that's grocery store fish. Life, you gotta go out there with your own rod, your own bait, and you go out there and you fish and you hunt. Now I know somebody that had a good relationship off dating apps. Outliers. Dating apps or sex apps. You're just hooking up. So this is more of the same behavior growing and growing and growing. So yeah, there's so many angles to this, and a lot of people get caught up in it. And so nowadays people treating social media as their therapist. Yeah, you're gonna hear these stories now because there's a lot of people that got caught up in this mind control, bro.
Yep. Yeah, I agree 100%. I remember when I did my one semester at FAMU, I was co-opting between FAMU and Florida State. And I was trying to get an undergrad degree in journalism. One of the professors I had at FAMU, her name was Dr. Valerie White. And she was such a hard ass. I'll never forget that lady. She was the worst. She'll give you a F in a quick, she'll fail you in a quick minute. She didn't give a damn. But like, she used to say, one of the things that she said that I'll never forget, and this was back in 2007. Okay, so like before things got where they are now.
Mhm.
This is back in 2007 when things were a little more tame. She was like, it's unbelievable how many people are walking around in modern society who are mentally unstable and need help. And you'll just never know it because they're just operating in a state of mental instability constantly. And
Mhm.
she's absolutely correct. That just speaks to that last point that you mentioned about people using social media as their therapist when they really need to get an actual therapist.
Right.
But you also mentioned something that I'll also end with, where you talked about people consuming all day but not actually working on themselves. People don't take inventory of themselves enough because you're
Mhm.
right. People conduct their dating lives mechanically, the
Mhm.
same way that they conduct the rest of their lives mechanically.
Mhm.
So a woman can come up on a guy who she intrinsically knows is a good guy, but she'll disregard him because the internet has told her, her feed has told her that the guy needs to be able to take her this place, put her in this car, at least be this tall, at least kind of look like this. That is all mind control. And
Yeah.
that is firmly what I believe is at the root of why there is so much relationship anarchy.
Yep.
And men and women do this. Men do it too. Like, and listen, I'll speak for myself because I've done it. That's how I know that this is a real thing. Like
Mhm.
I've done this where it's like I got something good, but I forsake it because I am so brainwashed that I believe that the grass is always greener and then I can find something better. And the
Right.
thing about it is it's an exercise in futility because you will never be able to replace value with whatever physical requirements you think you seek. There's just not there's just never going to be an even exchange of that. But we're all caught up in this madness. We all do the same thing. So I've always had a theory that there are two kinds of people in this world. There is the utilitarian and there's the non-utilitarian. Uh, People who are utilitarians, they conduct their lives in such a way that every single thing that they do, every behavior that they commit to, every action that they commit to, every commitment that they commit to is based upon the notion that there is some practical yield that it is going to have for their life.
Mhm.
So, in other words, I'm not going to commit to this behavior if I don't see the practical use of it. Does this action serve as a practical use for me? So what I personally find is people who have people who have successful lives and people who have successful relationships, people who aren't 46 making TikTok videos saying I'm 46 and I'm single, people who don't have to do that, those people are utilitarians.
Mhm.
And what they basically known throughout their entire lives is I'm going to conduct my dating life in a manner that is going to yield a practical use for me. People who don't do that are the people who just consume and don't take inventory of their own situation. So think about it. Years ago, you and I did a video talking about Ray Allen because Ray Allen got caught being catfished or scammed because he was thirsting on Instagram, and it got found out because the person who he was thirsting after on Instagram, it wasn't an IG model. It turned out to be some dude who was a catfisher named Bryant Coleman. And so like and so like I one of the things that came out of that video was I talked about how I realized sometime in my mid 20s I need to get off Instagram. More specifically, I need to stop following IG models, fitness models, Snapchat chicks, OnlyFans. I got out of it. Like I literally went through my account and I purged my account of every follow, of every Instagram model, every model, damn near every woman. But and I kept some women. It just depended on what the nature of what they did was.
I got you.
But all of the Instagram modeling stuff, the Snapchat chicks, and the OnlyFans. Not OnlyFans wasn't around back then, but around stuff like that. I
Mhm.
stopped following them. I stopped liking photos that were thirst traps. I stopped commenting on those pics and all of those videos. I purged it out of my system. I purged it out. I got rid of it because for me, I realized following these women serves no practical purpose for me. Where is the pragmatism that it will employ for me personally? It doesn't exist. What is it? What does me following this woman do for me practically? She's not going to show up at my place. She's not going to ask for my phone number. If I ask for her number, she's going to ignore me. If I comment on the pic, on the photo, what is it going to do for me? Nothing. All it does is give value to her as an attention seeker, but it yields no practical purpose for me. So what's the point of doing it? I'm not going to contribute to this madness by following these women, liking these pics, liking these photos, liking these videos, commenting. You don't get the currency of my follow. So I purged my account of all of it. I flushed it out of my system and I never looked back because it serves no practical purpose. And that form of mind control ceased to be a constant presence in my life. And I was at least henceforth able to conduct my relationship life after that point from a more balanced perspective because I didn't have that caliber of mind control influencing my decision-making process. And that was the utilitarian in me saying, I need to get rid of this from my life because it serves no practical use. So I think women like this, as well as other people who are just so ingratiated in being on their feeds 8 hours a day and feeling like you can't have a boyfriend or a girlfriend unless they meet this, and this. Where did that come from, sir or ma'am? Oh, well, it's what I see on the podcast that I listen to. Or it's what I see on YouTube all the time. Or, these are the chicks that I follow on Instagram. Or, I got a friend and his boyfriend does that. Or how do you know that his boyfriend is doing all of that? How do you know her boyfriend is doing all of that for you? Because I follow her on Instagram. You flush all of that out of your system. Like, people need to really sit back and say, what practical purpose does this serve me? And if you can honestly come to the realization that it is practically serving you no use, don't commit to the behavior. And if you don't commit to the behavior, you will learn how to think for yourself and you will employ those aspects in which you are able to think for yourself when it comes to how you go about your dating life. And you'll learn how to be confident enough to not fish in the same pool because that pool that you're fishing in is giving you nothing but bullshit all the time. You'll gain the wherewithal to no longer do that. But it starts with us as individuals. It starts with everybody learning how to conduct your life from a practical utilitarian standpoint. And that was always my theory. So like, I'm not a utilitarian perfectly through and through in every aspect of my life. But when it comes to stuff like this and all of this mind control, I realized early on that it was doing more harm than good in more ways than one. So I purged it out of my system. I got rid of it. And I think women like her spend far too much time doing it when it would really benefit you to purge it out of your system. So, that's kind of the big picture message that I have for stuff like this. Too many people are just group thinkers and they just they conform to conventional social norms. And, too many women are saying, I need my guy to be this tall or make this much money or drive this kind of car or do this or do that. And too many guys, money. Yeah, and too many guys are saying, I need to have my girl who has this kind of hair or this kind of body or does this or that sexually and all of this kind of stuff. And the ironic thing about it is you can actually have all of that if you just get with somebody who's like-minded and you just develop the rapport with that person. But we just want it now. Exactly. Yeah, but you just want it now and you need it now. And there's no patience. And these women just walk around saying, are you not already 6'6" and making $200,000 a year? Okay, you're not good enough. Next. And before you know it, you're 46 and you're crying on the TikTok because you have no guy there to pick you up from your surgery. Well, whose fault was that? It was yours. So like, everybody needs to be more of a utilitarian. And that's not something that I read in some scientific book. It's just a theory that I had. There's just two different types of people. You have people who are just wayward and they're just out here and they just do stuff and they don't take inventory on whether it serves an actual practical use for them. And then you have other people who got it from the get-go and they just always realize, I'm not going to commit to a behavior if it really serves me no practical use. And following these chicks on Instagram, these thirst traps, and believing that this guy has to do this or that is all mind control that comes from the programming that you're receiving that receiving it in such excess is not actually giving you a practical use. And you want to know how it doesn't give you a practical use? Because you're over 30 and you're still single, despite the fact that you claim you don't want to be.
Mhm.
That's how you know it serves no use for you. If it served an actual practical use, you would have attained what it is that you seek already. But the fact that you haven't attained it means that it's not serving that practical purpose. So
Yeah,
like
that I agree.
that's what people need to do. And so this woman, women like her and women all over the place, I know too many of them personally, they don't do that. And too many of us as men, we also don't do that. And so that's kind of what I impart to people when it comes to this stuff. Is just practical use. Purge yourself out of it. You're not missing out because you're not on your Instagram feed 8 hours a day. That stuff is all trash anyway. If it's not teaching you how to make money, run a business, if it's not teaching you about certain certifications, if it's not helping you with certain hard skills, you don't need it. It isn't serving a practical use. The rest of it is just mind control. So get out of the matrix.
Agree. I couldn't agree more. And I'll just say this. Um, yeah, it goes down like just like how you said, if the stuff's not serving you, if you see a thing where there's a female and she has nice breasts, and you have a girl and her breasts are okay, but they're serviceable. They're serviceable breasts. But the one on IG that you're following, I mean, they're crazy. They're like 101s. And so now you're looking over that and you're like, damn, oh my, I ain't gonna have that girl. She's staying in another state, but there's gotta be something around here that's like that.
Yeah, now you out in the club.
Now you out of the
Yeah.
club.
Yeah.
This girl with the respectable breasts, you're now looking over her. And so that's just with the breast. It can be waist. It can be, you know what I'm saying? The backside.
Mm-hmm.
It can be any of these things that's got the mind warped. And we've got a lot of warped people out here. So I like that advice. I did the similar thing. I did a purge of mine. Still got one or two floating out there. But you saying this really makes me go, yeah, you know what? You don't have to look at it. Because honestly, even I don't even really get on IG as much anymore. But whenever I do get on there and I'm scrolling and I see the one or two and I'll look at it and go, man, I used to really enjoy that. It's kind of ridiculous that she's still doing this years later.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is this? And who are all these people? I bet there's a guy or guys never took a post off. Never. They're liking, commenting, hell, even reposting.
They live for it.
They live for it. And honestly, I don't know what dungeon they live in. I don't want to know. I don't want to know how it smells. But it's like, get out of that place, bro. Because there's a lot more to life. There's fresh air outside. And
Yeah.
and so this speaks to all of that. But I'm definitely going to do a second inventory of such
Right.
things. And not even when it comes to like this topic, like you said, just do an inventory of everything. And what is
Generally.
it? Is this
Yeah.
really serving you right now? And I'll have those conversations, but then I'll go, no, but I do want some leisure.
What's the
Yeah.
harm? Yeah. And see, that's the thing. That's the thing about it. And see, people, because I've shared this kind of stuff with others. And
Mhm.
for the most part, they've been like, yeah, man, that makes a lot of sense. But you've had some people been like, bro, it's not that serious. And see, the people who are like, it's not that serious. Because you got a lot of people who are just like that. Like, it's not that real, bro. It's not a big deal. Actually, sir, it is.
Yeah.
It is that serious. Like, you really need to commit only to behavior. You really need to commit only to behaviors that yield a practical purpose, honestly. And like when it comes to relationships, this is something that's more important for men to heed because, again, I still feel like women are their own worst enemies. Like they just, but at the end of the day, because of the way sexual dynamics work, all women have to do is just come to the realization that they can think, it's okay to think for yourself and accept this man's advances and just see where it goes, because he can be a great guy. But we as men need to assert ourselves to women. We need to go out there and actually do the legwork when it comes to trying to meet women. And so because we have to go out there and do the legwork to meet women, it's even more important that you only commit to behaviors that yield a practical use. So even though you're following these people on these social media networks and you don't think it's a big deal, just ask yourself, what practical purpose is following this person serve me? What are they teaching me? Are there any skills that I'm learning? Is there anything that I'm being provided of tangible use? And if you can say the answer to that question is no, get rid of it. Unfollow it, because it's just clutter in your brain. It's clogging up valuable bandwidth that can otherwise be given to something else that's far more useful. So like, this is where we are with a lot of this stuff. It's just people just need to learn how to be more of a utilitarian. And this is not something that's a genetic predisposition. It's a learned behavior, which is the crazy thing. Like, there aren't people who are more likely than not to have the capacity to conduct their lives this way. It's completely learned. So, you know, fortunately, you might have people who grow up in a household where their parents teach them the value of only committing to behaviors that are yielding things that provide actual value to you. But then you have other people who aren't so lucky, but everyone has the capacity. So it's not a matter of a genetic predisposition or anything. It's just coming to the realization that that might be the better way to go about doing things. And it is a big deal. You might not think it's a big deal when it comes to relationships and your dating life, but it honestly is. Because if this chick was more of a utilitarian when she was younger and in her physical prime, she wouldn't be 46 and single. I guarantee it. But the fact that she spent far too much time enveloped in madness and not really sitting down and asking herself, do I really, and you know, I'm speaking, it's like I'm putting words in her mouth. I'm really speaking to all women who are in her situation, not just her specifically, but like to all women who are in that situation. Did you really sit down and ask yourself, do I need my guy to be this tall? Do I need my guy to be this rich? Do I need my guy to have this kind of car? Or do I need my guy to be able to take me on vacation 10 times a year? Did you really sit down and ask yourself, is that something that I need? Or is that something that I believe is what I need based upon things that I didn't even teach myself or that no one else taught me? And I think if you're being honest, you'll see that it's not something that you actually came to the conclusion yourself. It's stuff that you were just programmed to believe. So stop following celebrities. Stop following all of these other people, these celebritats. Stop following Kim Kardashian. Stop thinking that you're supposed to live the same reality as her, where you think you're supposed to be in a relationship that's a fairy tale romance, and you got a guy who's able to do all of this kind of stuff. Really, what you're supposed to do is get with a guy and build that so that y'all can do that together. If 100. You do that, then you won't be 46 crying, wondering what the fuck happened to you.
100. Couldn't say it. I couldn't agree more, bro. Could not agree more.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and end it on that note, man. Good luck to you in your surgery, Miss Lady. I hope it turns out okay.
Hope you're all right, lady.
Yeah, for real.